Hello and welcome to my channel. I finally finished my spreadsheet, so I'm going to be attaching a link where you can get a copy of it, and that way you can edit it for yourselves. And if you know of anybody that have planted things together that you don't agree with, and that way you can change it and you can print it out. And I've got it set up to where it's one page, but you might want to double check it because sometimes it seems to go from the landscape and the portrait view by itself. So just make sure you check it before you print it so that it's just one page and that it's in the proper view. You know, you can get a print preview before you print it. And gardening experts, they don't always agree, which can be confusing. So, and I tried to look it up as best I can. I'm not, I'm a new gardener. I just started a few years ago. So, and the gardening experts, they're like split on pole beans and if they can be planted near the cabbage family or not. Some say yes, and some say no, and some of them just refer to them as beans and not separate the pole beans from the bush beans. But those are two completely different plants. You know, one is a different height and they take different lengths of time, and one of them might, you know, like the cabbage family. The cabbage family, you might be able to plant certain things with the cabbage family and other things you can't, because some members of the cabbage family might grow so high that they might leave a shadow, and some things might need full sun. And the plants, they need different nutrients, and some of them, like beans, they fix nitrogen into the soil, which could be helpful to other plants. So they say that cucumbers and beans, they complement each other very well and they grow. So if you plant certain crops near other crops, you might end up having a lot more of those crops. And some things you don't want to plant near each other. And then after other plants, you might want to find out about that, because they say that if you plant onions in a certain area, you may not want to plant like beans after them because they may not do well. So there's a lot of things to into. And even though you can plant certain things with other things, there are other things that might be better to plant with them that might complement them even better. So I hope this helps you. And then I like the hearts. So the hearts are for yes, you can plant them together. And the X's are for no, you can't. But like I said, it's not perfect. It could be very wrong in certain areas because there's so many disagreements, but I tried to do the best I could, and so I hope it helps you. And there's a little flag for the ones that are supposed to protect each other and really do well. And I'm going to scroll down so you can see it for those of you that don't want to print it out. Maybe you just want to be able to look at it. And I have it in LibreOffice because I use that a lot, but when you copy it, it'll be in Excel, and then you can edit it in LibreOffice or Excel. I just like LibreOffice a lot because I use it a lot. But I'm going to scroll down. And so it's set up, you can see what reaches what, you can see it across and the one down. And then on the right hand side, I put and you can pause this if you want to as you go along. But I tried to put the plant family name on the right hand side. And I didn't have a lot of room, so it's going to be the simple, even if there's a larger family name, like I put the cabbage family instead of the actual longer name because it's a shorter one and it's easier to fit in there. So, and then they say some plants have like really large root systems, so you don't want to plant another another plant that has a really large root system probably next to that one. You might want to plant things around it that have a smaller root system, they say. So, but that's up to you. I know we planted peppers next to tomatoes with cucumbers, and so then when the peppers and the tomatoes grew, we didn't have enough nutrition in the soil, so we had to get that lime powder from Tractor Supply, and then we went and sprinkled the lime powder around because when they first started growing, they started getting root rot, and we were concerned, but we sprinkled that lime around everywhere and then watered it down the plants, and They were fine. They did really well actually. And it was Roma tomatoes. The Roma, we planted all different kinds of tomatoes, but the Roma tomatoes, they seem to have a lot more tomatoes. And I was thinking, well, I go to buy tomatoes at the store. It seems like the Roma tomatoes are less expensive than the other tomatoes. And I'm thinking, well, maybe that's why. Maybe when other people grow Roma tomatoes, maybe they get a lot more as well. And this year we're going to try to grow grapes. So we went and I actually bought, because I didn't know anybody that had the grapevines that we could cut off and plant ourselves. And I thought about I might still buy some grapes from the store and smash them up a little bit and throw them in the soil and see if they grow. But I've got a couple of vines. I've got two different ones and two different kinds that I'm going to try to grow that I actually bought from the garden store. And then I got peanuts, and my husband's like, we can get peanuts everywhere, but I don't always, I have a hard time finding raw fresh peanuts now. You know, there's a lot of the boiled peanuts, but I like the raw fresh peanuts. So, and I know it may not be a big crop, but I think I'm going to grow those this year because I bought bags of them from the store, and yeah, they're not very expensive. From the garden store, I had them, and they're like $5 a bag. And they say you can open the shells, and then you can pull the peanuts out, and you can soak them, and then you can plant those, and then you can grow your own peanuts. Which try to grow things that cost a lot of money at the store that I don't want to spend money on. You know, like orange peppers are one of my favorites, and then it's hard for me to find sweet banana peppers, so I'm growing those because I love those a lot. And I will probably try to grow honeydew again this year. And that's another thing. There are certain plants that you can plant with other plants that will help keep the pests away. So you need to know what those are as well, which I don't have that in this spreadsheet. I might do another one later, I don't know. But that's also something that's important because some things you plant with other other crops and they help you to keep, you know, worms or insects away that might feed on the other ones. And sometimes they say that you should, even if they feed off certain things, you can plant something there that you're willing to sacrifice so that they feed off that, so they don't feed off the plants that you want that are more important to you. So, and then there are some spices that you plant, and they say some spices you can plant together, but some of the spices you shouldn't plant together because they might not need the same amount of water and the same amount of sun and things like that. So it's just very interesting reading it all because, you know, I just wanted to garden. I just wanted to plant things and grow things and you know, since I was worried about trying to buy seeds because sometimes it's hard to find the seeds, and then some of the places will start selling the seeds and then all of a sudden they're donating the seeds somewhere and you don't know where they're donating them to, but they're just gone. But then, you know, then you find out you can just get the seeds out of your food. So like we found out we could just get a honeydew melon and cut the honeydew melon open and take the seeds out and then we just plant them right away. And I didn't do anything special to the seeds. I just went out there and planted them the same day and watered the soil and they grew really well. So, and then the orange peppers, like we cook orange peppers for dinner because it's one of my favorites. I love orange peppers in a cream sauce with chicken and things like that, or even in chicken and dumplings because I love the flavor, but I don't like green peppers. The green bell peppers. I like the green banana peppers, but I don't like the green bell peppers. So I'll take the orange pepper seeds out from dinner and I'll go and plant those. And then I have seeds in my seeds packets that are like for different colored bell peppers because my husband loves bell peppers. But I found that the seeds from the orange peppers that I didn't do anything special to, I just went and planted them right away. They grow so much better. And so this year we sliced some cucumbers from the grocery store and planted them, and we'll see how that works. I don't know. And I've thrown blackberry seeds if we didn't eat the blackberries out in the yard, and they grew blackberries, so they're everywhere because they have thorns. My husband has to cut them down all the time. But I love blackberries so much. And then the in the wintertime, if we have tomatoes and my husband doesn't eat them, I have a pallet garden section really close to the front door. So I'll just open the door and throw the tomatoes that are going bad into that garden section. And so last year we had all these tomatoes coming up in that section of the garden. And my husband's like, well, we didn't plant anything here. Where are all these tomatoes coming from? And he loves tomatoes. So he was pretty happy about having all those tomatoes. So anyway, I hope that this helps you, and I will try to get on to getting it on Google Sheets or Google Sheets or Google Spreadsheets, whatever it's called, and adding that link, and you can copy it, and that way you can take your copy and you can edit it or whatever you want to do with it. So I thought, well, if I'm making this for myself, why not make it for other people? And I thought with you having on the right hand side where you have the name of the family of the plants, like the cabbage family, maybe they grow, the cabbage family might have similarities with what you can plant them with, or what will help them to grow better. And so I thought that would be a good idea. So that you could see, and the ones from the carrot family might, you know, and that's, root crops. Can you plant certain root crops with other root crops? And they say that you can, but and then there's the nightshade family, so that you could see what's in the nightshade family and say, oh, what can, how does the nightshade family grow? And then rhubarb is a knotweed, so I didn't know it was called a knotweed. So some places you'll see about companion planting on the internet, and it might mention a knotweed instead of the word rhubarb, and you're like, oh, I don't even know what a knotweed is, right? So that's helpful to you. That way you can see, if it's in the daisy family or the cabbage family or the mint family or the legume family. I don't know if I'm saying it right, legume family. You can see just being in that family, it might help you to have more knowledge of what it will grow better with. So that will give you ideas, because you may not want to plant certain things. Sometimes if they're from the same family, you may not want to plant them closer together. You might want to plant them with different things in between the rows, especially if they're going to exchange nutrients. Like pole beans and bush beans, they put the nitrogen in the soil, so you might want to plant every other row with those and every other row with something else that complements them, so that you have a better crops from them helping each other, which, there's so much more to gardening than just tilling the soil and planting the seeds and planting them so far apart and trying to make sure that the soil has the right amount of nutrients and everything's planted the right depth and so far apart and has the right amount of water. There's even so much more to it that, we never even considered. You may have considered it, but you may not have considered it. So anyway, I've gone through this a couple times, and I tried to make sure they were the same going across and going down. So I hope that this helps somebody, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Have a great day. Please feel free to leave comments. Bye-bye.